After she paid his tuition fees, her fiancé told her she's not elite enough to attend his med school party. Harper Jameson stood outside a fancy rooftop party in Boston, holding a small gift bag and smiling to herself. She was excited to surprise Cole, her fiancé. He had finally made it through med school, and she was proud of him. She had even helped pay for his last semester when his parents stopped supporting him. She worked long night shifts as a nurse just to help him reach this point. The party looked beautiful, bright lights, people in expensive clothes, soft music playing. Harper wasn't dressed like them. She wore a simple blue dress and had tied her hair up quickly after work. Still, she didn't think it mattered. She was here for Cole. When she gave her name to the woman at the entrance, the woman looked confused. She checked the guest list and then called someone over. A few seconds later, Cole came walking over, looking nervous. "Harper," he said, not smiling. "What are you doing here?" "I wanted to surprise you," she said, handing him the gift bag. He looked back at the entrance, then down at her. "This event is really exclusive. It's not the kind of place you'd feel comfortable." Harper frowned. "What do you mean?" "It's just, this is a high-class event. It's doctors, donors, important people. It's not really your crowd." Her heart dropped. "I'm not your crowd?" Cole lowered his voice. "Don't make this a big deal. I just don't want you to feel out of place." "But I helped pay for this," she said softly. "I believed in you." "That doesn't mean you have to be everywhere I go," he said. Harper didn't know what to say. She felt like she couldn't breathe. Without another word, she turned around and walked away. Her hands were shaking and her eyes burned, but she refused to cry in front of him. The door closed behind her. She was outside, alone, while the man she had supported, the man she loved, stayed inside with people who were better in his eyes. She had never felt more hurt or more unwanted. Harper grew up in a small town in Missouri where life was always hard, but her mum taught her to work for everything. Her mum worked 2 jobs and still made dinner every night. Harper learned early that nothing came easy. Not love, not success, not peace. When her dad walked out, Harper never waited for people to save her. She worked after school, helped raise her younger brother, and studied hard. She didn't go to prom. She worked late at a diner that night because the electric bill was due. She got into nursing school with a partial scholarship and held down 3 jobs to stay in. She cleaned motel rooms in the morning, waitressed at night, and studied during her breaks. She didn't complain. She saw pain and poverty every day and wanted to do something that made a difference. She believed in earning every step. She met Cole at the hospital where she worked her first full-time job. He was there volunteering during his pre-med summer. He had soft hands, wore nice watches, and talked like someone who had never had to count dollars before buying groceries. But he was kind. He asked her questions, listened to her answers, and called her brilliant when she helped a patient calm down. At first, she didn't think someone like him could ever love someone like her. But he did, or so she thought. They started dating slowly, late-night takeout, study dates, walking in the park. Cole told her he admired her grit, said she made him feel grounded. When his parents found out, they weren't happy. His mother once told Harper during a family dinner, "You're sweet, but Cole's future is very specific." Harper smiled through it. Cole apologized later, and she forgave him. That was their rhythm. He'd say something harsh or distant, and she'd smooth it over. When Cole's father pulled his funding during his 3rd year of med school, "Until you sort out your personal life," Harper stepped in. She emptied her savings, picked up extra shifts, and delayed her own goals, like applying for a nurse practitioner program she'd dreamed of. "Just one more semester," she'd tell herself. "We're in this together." But lately, it didn't feel like together. Cole had been pulling away. He corrected how she spoke at dinners, gave her helpful tips on how to dress more professionally. He started talking about the circles he wanted to move in after graduation, people who make things happen. Harper didn't say much. She assumed it was stress. Med school was hard, and she knew how pressure made people act out. Still, it hurt. Sometimes at night, she'd lie next to him, staring at the ceiling while he slept, wondering if he still saw her the same way, wondering if she was holding him back. She never told anyone, not even her best friend, how tired she was, how lonely, how much of herself she was giving up piece by piece, hoping it would all be worth it in the end. She told herself this was love, and love was supposed to be hard, right? But deep inside, a quiet voice had started to whisper, "What if it's not love? What if it's just use?" After the party humiliation, Harper quietly leaves and spends the night at her friend Ava's apartment. She doesn't say much at first, just takes off her shoes, sinks into the couch, and stares at the floor. Ava brings her tea and waits. Finally, Harper says, "He looked me in the eye and said I wouldn't be comfortable there, like I wasn't good enough to be in the same room as him." Ava shakes her head. "After everything you've done for him," Harper sighs, pulling out her phone. She scrolls through her inbox without really thinking and suddenly sees an old email Cole had sent months ago. It's the forwarded tuition invoice from his med school, $15,800. Her heart sinks. That's the money she wired to the school when Cole said his parents had cut him off. He told her it was just a loan, temporary, that he'd pay her back as soon as things settled. She shows the email to Ava. "You paid that?" Ava asks, shocked. "I didn't think twice. He was struggling. I thought we were a team." The next morning, Harper goes to Cole's apartment. She doesn't text or call. She just shows up. When he answers the door, his face looks annoyed, like she's interrupting something. "We need to talk," she says quietly. He steps aside, and she walks in. The apartment is cleaner than usual, like someone important had been over recently. She pulls up the email on her phone and shows it to him. "You remember this?" Cole glances at it. "Yeah, what about it?" "I paid this, $15,800. My savings, my shifts, my future. You offered," he says flatly. "It's not like we were married or anything." Harper's eyes widen. "So now it doesn't matter," he shrugs. "I never forced you. You did it because you wanted to. I did it because I believed in you," she says, her voice breaking. "I gave everything I had so you could chase your dream." Cole looks away. "Harper, let's not do this. We're different now. You come from a small town. I'm moving in different circles." "You mean Victoria?" she asks, the name slipping out like poison. He stiffens. "Don't bring her into this. I saw her at the party. You called her your partner." Cole tries to act calm. "She's in the same program. Her family's involved in the hospital board. It's complicated." "It's not," Harper says. "You replaced me." She turns to leave, but as she reaches the door, a message pings on her phone. It's from a girl she barely knows, a classmate of Cole's. "Did you hear? Cole and Victoria are getting engaged. Big announcement at the Rivington family gala next weekend." Her breath catches. She turns back to Cole, but he won't even meet her eyes. That silence says everything. She leaves without another word. He took her love, her money, and her trust, and treated it like it was nothing. But Harper's story wasn't over. Not yet. Harper locks herself in her apartment for days. She deletes every photo of Cole from her phone, one by one. Each swipe feels like ripping out a piece of herself. She opens her drawer and finds the old letter she once wrote to him, back when he was struggling, doubting if he was good enough for med school. She had poured her heart into that letter, telling him he was meant for greatness. Now, she watches it curl and burn in a small glass bowl. Then she sees the framed note on her shelf. A thank you card he wrote once. "Thank you for believing in me. I wouldn't be here without you." She stares at it for a long time, then throws it in the trash. She lies in bed for hours, staring at the ceiling. She doesn't eat much, doesn't shower. The world outside keeps moving, but Harper's stuck in a loop of questions. Was any of it real? Did I mistake manipulation for love? Was I just someone he used to climb higher? Ava calls. Harper doesn't answer. Her brother knocks on the door one night, dropping off groceries and leaving a voicemail that says, "You're not alone, Harper. Please don't disappear on us." But she can't talk to anyone. Not yet. She's drowning in shame, ashamed that she gave so much, trusted so blindly, and ended up discarded like nothing. One night, she opens social media. Big mistake. There they are, Cole and Victoria, laughing at a charity event, her hand on his chest, his smile wide, like he's never known heartbreak. The caption says, "Boston's rising power couple." Harper feels like she can't breathe. Her stomach twists. He's not even pretending to hide it anymore. It hits her all over again. He chose someone better, someone wealthier, someone with status. And he left Harper with the bill, the silence, and the shame. The next day, she forces herself to go back to work at the hospital. She needs the money, and she needs a reason to get out of bed. While checking on an elderly patient, something unexpected happens. The woman grabs Harper's hand and says, "You remind me of someone I used to be before I forgot how to love myself." Harper swallows hard. Later, as she wheels the woman to imaging, the woman smiles and says, "My mama used to tell me, don't love a man so hard that you forget how to stand on your own. I didn't listen. You should." That night, Harper lies awake in her tiny apartment, those words echoing over and over. Don't love a man so hard that you forget how to stand on your own. She realizes she hasn't cried once. Not really. Not loud. Not deep. She grabs a pillow and screams into it until her throat hurts. Then she sobs. Not just for Cole, but for herself. For all the years she put her dreams aside. For the way she shrank to fit his world. For how she stopped asking for what she needed. And somewhere between the sobs, she whispers, "I lost myself." But there's something different in her voice now. Not just pain, something else. A flicker, a fight. Harper revisits her mother's journal one night, flipping through the worn pages like they hold the pieces of a map. The scent of old paper brings her comfort, like her mother's voice is somewhere nearby. Then she sees it. One simple line written in her mother's sharp handwriting. When people underestimate you, don't argue. Let results sting them. Something inside her shifts. A spark, small but steady. She closes the journal and stares at the ceiling, her chest rising with something she hasn't felt in weeks. Purpose. The next morning, Harper meets Ava at a coffee shop. Ava doesn't push, just listens. When Harper finally opens up about the money, the $15,800 she paid for Cole's tuition, Ava blinks, stunned. "Wait, you paid that? And he never gave it back?" Harper nods, her voice barely a whisper. "He said it was temporary, just a transfer. I never even thought I'd have to ask." Ava pulls out her phone. "Did you ever text or email about it? Anything at all that shows it wasn't a gift?" Harper pauses. "I think so." She scrolls through old messages. There it is. Cole's message from months ago. "Thanks for covering the tuition for now. I'll pay you back once the loan clears." Ava grabs her hand. "Girl, that's a loan. You could sue him." Harper's breath catches. "Sue him?" "Yes. And not out of spite, but because he took from you, lied to you, and now he's walking around in suits with some Barbie, like you never mattered." The next week, Harper quietly visits a legal aid clinic on her lunch break. She walks in with a folder full of screenshots, emails, bank statements. The lawyer listens, reads, nods slowly. "You've got a case," he says. "A strong one." She doesn't smile. Not yet. But something loosens in her chest, like air's flowing again. At home, Harper finds her old running shoes buried at the back of the closet. She hasn't touched them in months, maybe longer. They still fit. She runs that evening, just a few blocks, but enough to make her lungs burn and her heart pound. She also pulls up the nurse practitioner program application she bookmarked months ago. She had paused it because Cole said the timing wasn't right. "Med school's intense, babe. Maybe next year." Now she finishes the application in one sitting. Her hands tremble a little, but she hits submit. It's the first step in reclaiming a dream she let slip through her fingers. Little by little, she rebuilds. She shows up to work not as someone dragging heartbreak behind her, but as someone climbing out of it. Her co-workers start to notice. Her hair's no longer tied in a rushed bun. Her eyes look sharper. Her steps feel steadier. One evening, she and Ava sit on the balcony with coffee. Ava says, "You're different now. You look like you again." Harper nods. "I'm not chasing anyone anymore. Not love, not approval, just peace, just justice." The lawsuit starts moving. Cole's family hears about it and tries to pressure Harper into silence. "It was a misunderstanding," his father's assistant says in a stiff email. "Let's be reasonable." Harper doesn't reply. She forwards it to her lawyer. She's done being polite, done being quiet. She's not screaming, not making noise, but her silence now has power, precision. Every step she takes now is deliberate. Each mile she runs, each shift she works, each legal paper she signs. Because Harper finally understands something. She wasn't weak for loving. She was strong for giving. And now, she's even stronger for taking herself back. And she's not asking for respect anymore. She's demanding it. Cole receives a legal notice demanding repayment of the $15,800 with all documentation attached. The letter is also CC'd to the hospital board he hopes to intern with. At first, he laughs, thinks it's some desperate stunt. But then he sees the attachments, screenshots of texts, emails with subject lines like loan confirmation, payment receipts in Harper's name. It's all there, unforgiving, precise. The letter isn't written in rage. It's composed like a scalpel, clean, sharp, professional. And the hospital board, they don't respond with silence. They send him a formal inquiry. Please explain the nature of this legal matter and how it relates to your character evaluation. Cole stares at the screen, heat rising in his neck. His jaw clenches. Within a day, word starts to spread. Someone on the student board leaks the story. An anonymous tip about a med student who took $15,800 from his nurse girlfriend, then showed up at a gala with a new fiancé from a prominent family. The internet fills in the blanks. The med school blog posts it first. The headline, future doctor or financial predator. Comments follow fast. This is why we don't trust people who date below their class. He took her money and dumped her at a party. What a tool. Wait, isn't this guy up for a surgical internship at Mass General? Victoria calls him at midnight, her voice cold and clipped. My father's pissed. He said you assured him everything with Harper was over, that there was no history, no drama. Did you seriously borrow money from her? Cole tries to play it off. It was complicated. She offered. No, Cole, she snaps. You asked, and now it's documented. What else are you lying about? The Rivingtons don't like scandal. They especially don't like being embarrassed. By morning, Cole is pulled into a private meeting with Victoria's parents. Her father doesn't yell. He simply leans back and says, if this doesn't go away quietly, neither will your future with Victoria. Meanwhile, Harper remains silent. No posts, no statements, just steady, measured steps. Her legal team sends another notice. Not just repayment, but damages, emotional distress, professional harm, and defamation from the public humiliation at the party. People who once pitied Harper now look at her differently. Nurses pass her in the hallway with quiet nods. Even some of Cole's classmates whisper things like, damn, she didn't just cry, she came for blood. But it's not blood Harper's after. It's truth. It's balance. It's her dignity, restored on her own terms. Cole tries to bury it. He deletes posts, tries damage control. But the whisper network in elite med circles is brutal, and no one forgets that he burned a woman who once carried him. Harper, she moves quietly, but every step she takes shakes the ground beneath him. The night of Cole and Victoria's formal gala, the ballroom at the Rivington estate, gleams with crystal chandeliers and carefully curated perfection. Every guest is dressed to impress, every toast carefully rehearsed. Cole stands tall, adjusting his cufflinks, flashing that same polished smile he's always used to disarm, to climb, to cover. Victoria is beside him in a silver gown, dazzling and icy, but the air shifts just after the second course. A stranger in a navy suit and press badge introduces himself at the bar. Miles Chen, investigative journalist with the Boston View. Politely curious, unnervingly calm, he tells a few guests he's covering legacy admissions in med schools. Then he casually mentions something about financial manipulation and a nurse being used as a silent funder by her med student boyfriend, who is now engaged to someone else. Word spreads like spilled champagne. By the time dessert is served, whispers have turned into stares. Someone pulls up the Boston View's website on their phone. A headline is already live. From nurse to stepping stone, unmasking fraud in med school romance. Below, it is a photo from the hospital gala weeks ago. Cole and Harper arm in arm. Victoria reads it at the table. Her hands freeze around her wine glass. Then she reads the quote from the legal filing. $15,800 was transferred from Ms. Harper Avery to the educational institution of Mr. Cole Bennett, with written documentation classifying it as a loan. Cole leans in, voice low and strained. I can explain, but Victoria doesn't want an explanation. She wants distance. She rises, smooth and cold. You didn't just lie to me. You built your whole future on someone else's back, and now you expect me to carry the rest. She walks out. Cole follows, face flushed, trying to salvage something, anything. But the room has shifted. Conversations die as he passes. People look through him, not at him. His name, once rising in elite circles, now trails shame like a shadow. And Harper, she's not even there. She's at home, in sweatpants with Ava beside her on the couch. They sip tea as Ava scrolls and smirks. He's trending. Stepstone Cole Harper doesn't laugh. Not yet, but she exhales, long, like something heavy just left her chest. The next morning, she wakes to an unexpected email. Congratulations, you've been accepted to the nurse practitioner program, full scholarship. The program director added a personal note. Your resilience and composure reflect exactly the kind of leader healthcare needs. Harper stares at the screen for a long time, not crying, just still. Because this time, the win isn't about revenge. It's about her, about reclaiming the voice she once buried in someone else's ambition. And the best part? She didn't have to be in the room to set it all on fire. A quiet morning. Harper sits at a cafe near the hospital where it all started. She wears scrubs. Her name badge now reads Nurse Practitioner. The world outside moves gently. Nurses heading to shift changes. Doctors grabbing their early caffeine fix. City buses wheezing past. But Harper, for the first time in a long time, feels still, whole. She wraps her hands around a warm mug, steam curling into the air like a soft breath. It feels different today, not like survival, but like living. She watches people pass by, not to escape them, but simply to be among them. No hiding, no guilt, just presence. Her notebook lies open beside her, and on a clean page she begins to write, not out of anger, not from pain, but from peace. I loved you when I didn't love myself. I fought for you harder than I ever fought for me. I believed in your dreams more than my own. But thank you for the break, for the silence, for walking away. Because now, I've finally come home to myself, and I'm not leaving. She places the pen down and smiles, the kind of smile that isn't for anyone else to see. As she leaves the cafe, she walks down the familiar path toward the footbridge behind the hospital. The wind picks up slightly, brushing her coat back. At the start of the bridge, a small sign reads, "One way only." She steps forward. No pause. No turning her head. No glancing over her shoulder. With every step, she lets go, not of the memory, but of the hold it had on her. She's not the same woman who crossed this bridge years ago, heart wide open and unaware of the fall. This time, she walks with her head high, shoulders steady. Halfway across, she inhales deeply. By the time she reaches the other side, the past has loosened its grip. Harper keeps walking, forward, always forward. Never lose yourself for someone else. Walk away, rebuild, and let your strength speak louder than your pain.